We spoke in the previous videos a little bit about sensitivity and specificity, and I'm just going to go ahead and abbreviate this when I refer to it as sense and spec for sensitivity and specificity. But we spoke a little bit about the trade-off that if you increase sensitivity, that you're going to decrease specificity and vice versa. But we really didn't say why. And the reason we can do that is by associating cost. And so in the previous video, we talked about cost and how to build classifiers differently based on our cost. And so in the initial examples, I'm going to use medical tests because they work very well and they very closely resemble our data mining machine learning that we're doing. So let's go with a flu test. And initially, all the costs are the same. And so let's go ahead and rewrite our equations. So we've got our confusion matrix. And so get good at writing that. So we're going to say right here, this is our sensitivity. And then we're going to write another name for it. It's actually called the true positive rate. And I don't know if I've referred to that by name before, but I probably, thinking back, I don't think I have. But understand that they're interchangeable. And then so now we on the other side, we have our specificity. And that's also known as the true negative rate. Okay, and so there's a relationship between these. And so let's write the equations. That way we can see that. And we'll work a problem because this isn't really a math course, but you can't really understand the relationship between these two without really working a problem. I can kind of wave my hands as I did in the previous video and say, well, when one goes up, the other goes down. But let's actually work a problem. So I refer back to this Wikipedia page a lot because it has a lot of really good information on that little chart. But make sure to check back there if you ever forget any of these equations. So in this one, the true positive rate, we're saying the true positives over everything in that column. So we have our true positive plus false negative. So that makes sense why, right? True positive over everything in the column. So true positive plus false negative. And then so on this side we have this is our true negative rate. So we're going to have true negatives on the top. And then that's over true negatives plus false positives. And so I'm making the claim that when one goes up, the other goes down. So if we raise our true positive rate, our true negative rate is going to go down. So let's actually work a problem. So we'll try to leave this in the view a little bit, but so let's create a confusion matrix, and let's say there's really no cost yet. We haven't done any cost. This is our base level. Everything's weighted the same. This is with our default options, no setting cost or anything. So I'm going to make some confusion matrix here. In this first example, we have five true positives, 5 false positives. We have 3 false negatives, and then true negatives, let's say 7. So 5 true positives, 5 false positives, 3 false negatives, 7 true negatives. And then so let's draw our second one, and then we'll work the math on it here. I want to pre-draw these out so I get this out of the way. So in this example, we have for our true positives, and I'll just write these in and then I'll explain in a second why. So we've got 6, 6, 2, and 6. Or that should be a 6. I don't know why I wrote an 8. So one of the checks, let's make sure these all add up correctly. So these 5 plus 5 plus 3 plus 7 is 20. So we have 6 plus 6 is 12. Plus 6 is 18 and 20. So that checks out. So what did we do here? On this test, what I said is, so this is no cost. And then we'll say this one has a false negative cost. Okay, so in this one, this is our base level. There's no cost. And this one, what I said is, okay, let's give false negative a cost. So when we gave false negative a cost, what we had to do is our model said, okay, let's err on the side of classifying things as positive. So we got one more true positive by doing that, but we also got one more false positive. So that's realistic. You might get some more false positives and some more true positives evenly distributed. This could have ended up as 7 and 5, but let's give a realistic example. We gave it a little bit of a cost, and this is our new matrix. And then so what happened is, because we gave it a cost, we reduced a false negative, but we also lost a true negative. So all the numbers add up. So two negatives became positive. So we took one from the false negative, and then we took one from the true negative, and then you can see how they ended up here. These can end up distributed different ways. So we could have lost no false positives and only true negatives. We could have gained only true positive. We could only have gained false positives. So this, I just took one from each, but that's not set in stone. They could have come over a bunch of different ways. So I'm going to scroll down here, and we're just going to work just a bunch of math here. So, and it's not tough math. This is just algebra. So let's make sure we put our little columns so we know what's going on. Okay, so in this one, basically we're saying that everything in this column, so we have 5, make sure I write this with enough room. So we have 5 over 5 plus 3, which is going to be 8. That makes sense, right? Like 5, based on this equation. So we're going to have 5 over 5 plus 3, which is 8. And then I plug that into a calculator, and that is going to equal 0.63. Okay. So same thing over here. We have 7 over 5 plus 7, which is going to be 12. And if I plug that into a calculator, I get 0.58. Okay, so now let's look at the other side here. So some things have changed. So let's go ahead and just do a little bit more number crunching here. So we have 6 over, so let's write our 6. And don't forget, I'm getting this from the equations. I'm not pulling this out of thin air. So I'm doing sensitivity and specificity. So this is our true positive rate. So this is going to be 6 over 6 plus 2, which is 8. If we plug that into a calculator, we get 0.75. And then now if I do, this is going to be 6 over 12, which is just going to be 1/2. So let's look at exactly what happened here. So the goal was to raise the sensitivity. Did I do that? Well, I went from 0.63 to 0.75. I raised the sensitivity, but what was the cost? So I raised the true positive rate, but what happened? I went from 0.58 to 0.5, and I lowered it, and this would have come out just as valid as if I had changed these numbers a little bit. And you can change it, and I think you should do that on your own. Just do some examples, come up with them off the top of your head. But hopefully this example right here justifies what's going on. You can see if you, as we start to raise this, it's got to come from somewhere. And so what happens is, as we assign a cost to our false negatives, right? Let me scroll up here so we can have as much on the screen as possible. So we've got our false negatives, and so we associated a cost. We wanted our false negatives to go down, and so that gave us more positive. One went to true positive, one went to false positive, but we also lost on the negative side a little bit. And so we raised our sensitivity, but it lowered our specificity. Our true positive rate went up, but our true negative rate went down.